looks like when it's recording.
There you go. You're recording, yeah.
Okay.
Yours, because it'll be a full circle when it's not recording, when you tap it. I told you, I'm taking you to weird spots around town. So Cameron, for sure, you can have Tourette syndrome and just scream out whatever you get.
4.8 was what I got.
Already. So remind me to write that one down. Let me know if you go above that.
Do you want me to avoid you guys?
Not necessarily. Your camera is kind of like, we like to have that point of reference for height with that camera. So again, it's either or. So if you're pointing it out that way, I also want to point out, Christy, you will pick up shadows on the ground. How much was that?
6.7.
6.7 and a 4.8. Nice. Dancing around. Love it. All right, so where the heck are we? Here's how this is going to go down. 6.7.
What is this picking up? It's right in here. It was right here.
Right.
So
Just move forward.
Is it trying to get the shape of the stair?
exactly. So it is picking up. So you have your dumpster right here, right? So it's going to pick up the dumpsters in front of the wall. So it's going to pick up some of those little contours of the dumpster. I've seen that in the past, but we also have many layers over there. So if there's something in front of something else, it's going to pick that up, then pick that up, and then maybe try to join them. So unless you can get a reaction out of that corner, like, hey, if you're so-and-so, can you raise your right hand? That's usually the only time I'm excited about you filming something like this. So because there is so many ins and outs of what this looks like. But yeah, you're on the right track. Like you're picking up, like you're looking at it the right way. You just need to know how it's looking at it. So welcome aboard, everybody. Let's kind of go through this history. What's going to happen is, at each location we go to, I'll give you the history, and I'll normally kind of assign questions or give questions out of things that will commonly show up here without giving you the answers. So communication people, so that would be Anna, Julia, and Brett. You guys, I'm not going to be giving you questions here like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn. This is where I actually start withholding information on purpose so that way you guys have a genuine experience. So if you hear anything at all, so we're going to put you on mute because I'm going to go through the history. So if you hear anything at all, no matter how silly it is, even if it's not an answer to your question, those answers could have gone to the audio pieces of our 2 video cameras or my voice recorder. Or if you're asking a question, Anna might hear it. We never know where it's going to go. So kind of keep that in mind. That's why you got to tell me almost every little detail that you're hearing. And the person we're going to be talking about doesn't know who the hell Katy Perry is. She might use her voice to give us a message about a firework, but you get my point. So welcome to the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion actually sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza, her garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servants and slave quarters for the home. So it actually kind of overlapped this median that we have right here. So it did go beyond what it is right now. So who the heck were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know in the event that somebody hears the name Charles, which one it is. So that way I know how to communicate with them. Gotta know who our ghost is. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution. It's a big deal for us, but I need politics, and we're gonna move on. If I don't bring it up, it normally comes up in a very negative way through a spirit box. Kind of like a, hey, where's my recognition? You guys are jerks kind of mentality. So I just give them their recognition every night, and we move on. We're gonna talk about Charles Kurtzworth's mom, so Eliza. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. Cameron, what do you have?
13.5.
Nice. So now we're going to keep it going. Don't give me anything below that at this point. So he's already gotten up to a 13. So, and it keeps going back down less than 2, correct?
Yep.
So if that was coming from a man-made object.
30.9.
Holy smokes.
I just heard I miss you in a woman's voice.
The gender does not matter. The gender does not matter. You're using radio stations.
At the same time, I said 30 point.
Yeah.
Okay. Where was I with Eliza? She marries him at a young age according to today's standards. If you all ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14. That's when young women got married back in colonial days. Think of today's standards. The reason why is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they married. It was a creepy age gap back then. It's a creepy age gap now. So I'm just going to point that out. And what's funny is at the end of this, I'll tell you how I had to put my foot in my mouth the other day. When I had a news team following me around for their big story for Halloween's front page. Yeah, it was kind of like but anyway, back to Eliza. So she married Charles because her father was over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time so he can see him. Well, Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put, got married. It's 1744. At hard. We're not a country yet. So this is a true love story. So I guess that's like fair warning. Like, don't poke the bear. Don't piss her off. Like, she's a prominent English woman, and this is a true love story. Again, it's not all blood and gore all the time like they show you on TV. But anyway, back to Eliza. She was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing right now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's what we use it for now. However, she didn't know what to do with the seeds when she got them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not hot here all the time. So when she learned how to make, keep it going, make the dye, she moved it to a cash crop and got a hold of her dad and told him basically that the rice plantation prices were going downhill. They were going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. It's something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are here. So we're going to start with Anna's questions. These are just going to be focal questions. And you can ask them out loud. You can focus on them however you want to do it. Seems like you've used spirit boards in the past, so it doesn't seem like you're unfamiliar with this. But you're going to have Eliza's death. So the 4 major things that we get answers to about that are her age at death, how she died, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. You heard G? She wouldn't know what jeans are. She would know the word denim, but denim really wasn't truly invented until like the 1820s, so long after her death. But again, it might be something she may have followed. But the last question would be the pallbearer of who was at her funeral.
What?
Who was a president. So just kind of keep that in mind. With yours, you're going to basically, we're going to keep yours nice and simple, simply because your device only gives us 1 to 2 syllables at a time. Because it's short words, right?
39.7.
The mansion's not here anymore unless you can see something I can't. So you can ask what happened to it, and if you get the what, normally we'll have 2 or 3 numbers from the date. Last night we actually had 2 of this very specific numbers of the date. So we didn't get all 3, but we did get at least 2. And that was just from my spot check. The 3rd number may have been in there. I missed it because I'm only spot checking. I'm not going to dig for it. So if it happens, it happens. So just remember, all of the little silly things that you guys hear, just let me know what they are. So if you hear, Stairway to Heaven, I want to know that you heard Stairway to Heaven, not that you heard Led Zeppelin.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
So we are going to spread out. Cameron, you were pointing at me like you had another number.
39.7 when you said
Holy mackerel.
when you said denim.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny. 2 years ago, I was using trigger objects. Do you guys understand what that concept is? Basically, you try to...
You try to agitate them?
I wouldn't say agitate. It's a bad word.
It's a negative connotation.
We'll motivate them
That's a
with
better
something. So I actually came across the trigger object for this location. I actually just moved a few months ago, and I was still unpacking boxes, and I was like, oh, I'm going to actually put this in my bag. I actually have a little tiny vial in my bag right now of indigo seeds. So I'm wondering if the word denim, when it triggered with that, why it went all the way up to 39.7. So it's kind of like, it's just an interesting piece. And it's only been in my bag for 2 days. So nothing happened from it last night. But the fact that this just occurred, I'm like, maybe. Because she did hear jeans. I'm going to write it down because it's weird.
Yeah.
But, and maybe because she was looking for it. But we did good. You said 39.7, right?
39.7.
See, I'm pretty good at remembering stuff. This is why you guys keep me around. All right, so we're going to spread out in here. I'll do probably...
You really want me to hit record if I actually...
You should already be recording.
We're recording.
Got it. Just keep
We
it
have
running
been recording
until we
this whole
regroup.
time.
So what will happen is we're going to spread out in here. I'm going to do, because it's a smaller group, I'll probably do 2 round robins with you guys just to kind of see what's going on, take some notes, and then regroup us back here, give you all of the answers, and say goodnight to Eliza, and we'll move on to our next space, and I'll explain each one as we kind of go along. So let's get you unmuted. Anna, you got anything else coming out of there?
Any new noise?
When did she? How old was she when she died?
I'm not telling you any of those answers.
You asked.
You asked.
I just heard the number 25. But that seems too young if she got married around.
I don't know how you can. It just sounds like so much mumbo jumbo.
I'm good at deciphering words.
That's why I always hand it to teenagers. They're actually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had like retirees be good at it, but it takes it's not an easy task to do.
Christy goes there by the house.
Hmm?
Look there where the house was. Anna, ask a question. Ask a question. said blank the proof.
What?
Nothing. Nothing. Christy, you get anything? Got some motion sensors over here.
Is yours going off any?
No, it hadn't gone higher.
Look at your dad.
Ask what happened to the house.
Anything else crazy showing up on there?
No, I mean, I'm not sure what that is. The van.
Yeah, it's picking up the van. Yep, you're exactly right. So, and you can also look at the perspective of, like, a ghost is not going to be that tall because it's picking up, like, the tree way above it.
Yeah.
Anything with leaves on it is not going to be your friend because all leaves are in front of another one.
Okay.
That's why I told you there's a lot of debunking with this.
Yeah.
I've played with the sensitivity over the past, 8 months that I've had this guy, just trying to make sure we didn't have too much.
Okay.
But right now, I think it's at a decent spot. Next week I might turn it down just a hair more, just to kind of see how we can do with it. But
Okay.
a lot of learning with this one. So even if I did have like the full 360 craziness that they show on TV,
Yeah.
like it's the same type of thing. You really can't tell unless you're staring at it up and down, up and down, up and down.
So when you're seeing this on TV, they're showing things in the house.
And most
Is
of the
that
things,
real, or is
yes.
that because that they're conjuring stuff up?
No,
or-
that is, they're legit.
Okay.
So some of them, I would say that 90% of them are legit, and that's a weird thing for me to say about something on television.
Okay.
But with those, and I've used one of those crazy handheld giant ones before, with the tablet and the 360 camera, the whole nine. But when I talked to the developers of this app, I wanted to know, how does it work? Like, tell me about it. What can I expect to see out of this? I'm going to be using this regularly, like daily. So we had a nice long conversation so I can learn more about it. The 3 points is real big for me. Like, I always look for that. If it's just got a single point for a head, it's a throwaway.
Okay.
So, but that's a big deal. Any other crazy numbers?
So, no new crazy numbers, but she asked, were you happy in Charleston?
That's a yes/no question.
But she heard power.
She did have a lot of power in Charleston.
And then I asked, did the indigo seeds give you power? And I heard, yeah.
That's why we don't ask yes/no questions. Try to reword it. What gave you the power here in Charleston?
Okay.
Always think of a way to reword it.
No, yes, no's.
Keep it open.
Okay.
Power. I'm gonna take the power one, but that, you can keep for yourself. That's a personal attack. So your baseline here now is gonna be 25. So we're gonna above that.
Yeah. It's been pretty low since then.
Did you get a chance to listen to what she's listening to?
I haven't listened.
And if Christy popped in here, button and said, "Nope, not for me." It's not easy. What's funny is that's my expertise.
Yeah.
So when I'm called to another paranormal team, it's because what I do with those.
Yeah.
And I can use them on any speed. The only thing I ask the team is just don't tell me what's going on here. I want to
Yeah.
go find it. So, but that's what I do. It's about the research.
What color was your house in Charleston?
It's a good question.
What color was the house? What'd
Well,
you?
at first I thought I heard red and then blue.
I heard something that began with a B, like brown,
Oh.
but still started
Do
with
we know what color the house was?
The photo, like the pictures I have of the house are unverifiable.
Right.
And you'll see why once I show it to you. But you did hear the color blue.
Yeah.
What color was the dye that came from the indigo?
Blue. Well, if I made a bunch of money off a blue cash crop, I'd paint my house blue.
It was expensive, so they may not have.
Right.
It was very expensive.
Well, they
It's
had what they
actually-
needed, though.
Well, it's actually where the term royal blue comes from. So they actually sold it overseas to royals. So
Every gallon.
25 cents off, right?
Yeah.
From the get upside down. There's certain things that I throw away. Get up and
Yeah.
run away.
What was your favorite plant in the garden? Is Christy seeing you yet? Oh, that's a yes/no question. Dang it.
What was the most common plant in your garden?
Herb protect.
Fire protect. How big was your garden?
What was your favorite room in the house?
Yeah, it's very weird. Just telling you like what my thoughts are.
I heard sun.
I thought I heard fire room.
Oh, I hear in totally different things.
It's okay. It's open for interpretation. Have fun with it.
What do you think? Are you hearing stuff?
I asked what was your favorite room in the house. I heard sun. She heard
Fire
fire.
room.
That's at lunch. I like fireworks.
What happened to the house again?
I didn't tell you.
He didn't tell us that.
So it burned.
You don't know that yet.
Well, you just said you liked fire room.
Yeah.
That's what made me ask the question.
We asked what was your favorite plant in the garden, and we both heard protect.
It's funny. That's actually almost the exact answer that showed up here a few weeks ago. And things like that, yeah. So
We
when
both heard it.
yeah. So and it's for the same question.
We asked the same question, got the same answer.
And again, when things like that, like when you guys tell me these things, I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of makes sense. And then when it shows up again,
Yeah.
that's where it jogs my memory. So I'm like, yep, I'm almost positive. I'm gonna say probably 3-4 weeks ago, somebody asked that exact same question. And what's funny is she's given us her favorite, flower or plant, or
Right.
she was a botanist.
Yeah.
That was kind of her thing. She wasn't, just a plantation owner. She was a
Right.
botanist. She played with plants all the time. So that's why she was so intrigued by the indigo, because it's not easy to do.
So what happened to the house?
I'm gonna cover all the answers.
Okay.
I want to see if some of the other pieces come up. I'm giving Julia another minute because she's actually doing pretty well with that. That one's harder to do than the one Anna has, believe it or not, because you don't know when it's coming. It comes out in those small bursts, just kind of randomly.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, let's kind of see what that copper's doing. All right, no other crazy numbers.
No other crazy numbers.
Julia, you got anything else? Hey, did you hear anything else? All right, let's pull it to the back. Let's kind of go over these answers because Christy can't win.
Oh, I just heard Adele. I love Adele.
Should I stop recording or keep recording?
Give your hands a break with your camera with your device. It's going to be like a 7 is the baseline here because of the lamp posts around us. So we'll give off a little bit of EMF. I get excited about anything above a 7. So that looks like some of our actor studio down at the end over there. So there is they use this alley for like the kind of galas or things like that. Only half of this is available for tours. I'll explain because I've actually been kicked out of here in the past. But again, this is like we don't go all the way through. So the fact that you asked me, does it go all the way to Queen? Yes, it does. But that's considered residential.
We just say something.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah, this is actually one of the most beautiful places in all Charleston. This is one of my favorite places. Unfortunately, this is the one I'm retiring this year. So I'm taking it out because every ghost tour comes down here and it's kind of a staple. I like to do the things that the other tours aren't doing. I don't know that they're going to come up this way for any reason, but if they do, obviously you guys will kind of be more discreet with your cameras. this is Philadelphia Alley, but it used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So basically, we're going to be here to stir this thing up with basically the history of it. We may hear things out of Anna's device. We'll keep you on mute during the history, but when we leave, obviously you'll unmute again. Every ghost tour tells the same story. I'm just going to give you a little bit more detail because you're ghost hunting. It's not just a campfire marshmallow ghost story, right? So here's how this goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the events that Anna hears the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of his name. So again, it's just one of those pieces where you can't deny when it actually pops up. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. And as he's coming into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. So it's like having a bad Uber driver. You guys have all had those, right? They set you up to be
Not
robbed and
that
killed. I was going to say, really? You guys have had them that bad? But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he's, somewhat of a local, and he knows the coachman, and he's going to try to kill this newcomer. That gentleman's name was Ralph Isaacs that was walking by. I stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the letters RI all the time on spirit boxes like what Anna's using, so I bought another device that basically acts just like a Ouija board. It's called an Envoy, but it uses EMF like Cameron's device, and anytime there's a spike, it stops the cursor over the letter of an alphabet, and we hopefully get anagrams or initials or things like that. I've had that also for about 8 or 9 months, and I've had letters RI show up about 6 or 7 times. So I'm trying to figure out what you're picking up on over there. What do you have?
It looks like that little tree right there.
That bush right there? Okay. We will have a small group coming this way, just so you guys know. It'll be about a minute or so
Okay.
before they make it here. But back to Dr. Ladd. Where was I? So Ralph was walking by. He's seen what was about to happen, and he stops the coachman, but goes to the doctor, and he says, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them, and you'll be safe. The doctor took him up on the offer, and they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making, proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. She got wind of this, and she's moving down so they could be married. Dr. Ladd now knows his fiancée is coming down, and he became known as the Whistling Doctor. I'm going to tell you that every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. It's another reason why I'm taking out the story. So yeah, go ahead and be very discreet with that. So we're going to let these folks come by, and you're going to hear these people whistling because they just heard the same story I'm telling you right now. So just be prepared because they're going to be staring at all of your blinky light devices going, what are them guys doing?
Thank you guys. Sorry. Our apologies.
You're fine, you're fine.
You guys have a lovely rest of your night. Because we lived in Denver.
So anyway, we were a lot down that part of the I'll tell you why. Like once I'm done with the doctor's story, because it's actually shows you why we go to the next space instead of to go all the way through. But anyway, back to Doctor. So whistling doctors, right? So Dr. Ladd and Ralph actually go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money now, so he gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So they talk about these plays on the way home. One night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're talking about these new actors that they had in town on the way home, right? Because they couldn't sit next to each other. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. It turns into an argument, and then Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly. So they go their separate ways. I told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Duelers Alley. We're going to settle this, and somebody's going to die. All this started over in Actress, just so you guys remember where this argument started, kind of dumb and silly. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot his one bullet. He did not want to kill his friend. Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doctor doesn't die. He drops to the ground, his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later, on November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out 3 things. Normally I point out 2 things, but we're on a special night. tomorrow night is the anniversary of that duel. Yes. So, and also depends on which version of the story you read, right? So, there's a lot. I will also point out it's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different than what they are now. And he was also a doctor, which is also why he refused medical treatment. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed because he died. Now, every ghost tour will tell you to listen for the whistles. We have 3 mechanical devices that are doing that for us right now. We have 2 video cameras plus my voice recorder. I will also mention we've gotten the words whistle, along with whistling parts of songs with the word doctor from a commercial immediately after it on our regular spirit boxes, which is exactly why we record everything. So again, this is just stuff, I can't make it up. I've seen it probably 2 or 3 dozen times. That's how much it's occurred in the time that I've been coming to this location. We've also gotten words like doctor, so forth and so on. But hopefully we're going to get clues to this space at the next location as well. Now, if you're going to try this on your own and go all the way through without me, because I already told you I can't take you down there, and use your voice recorders from your phones, just keep in mind that every local knows the damn story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every morning, I'm not going to lie. So my office is over here, my garage is over there. So I have to pass the alley, and ever since I got thrown out of here, I throw a whistle. Sometimes I get one back, most of the time I don't. Here's how I got thrown out of here. This will also show you like some of the research that I do for these spaces. The alley didn't go all the way through this way. There was a wall halfway between where we're standing and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock. This was called Cow Alley. So imagine cows and chickens down here, basically. What does that mean? Those bricks on the other side, where that whole large group was just standing, those bricks are a lot older than the bricks we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. And when I was new at this, I used to take my groups down there just for a history piece. I wasn't looking for anything paranormal because that's the last place you're going to find that kid, right? I treat it just like I do a grave. So November 26th of 2020, my entire group is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with the gear I handed them. I know nothing's going to happen, and I'm also trying to be respectful because it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I didn't realize I was out of bounds. I was just trying to be respectful. Well, the new owner of that mansion came out that night, and he was screaming and yelling, and my daughter thought it was great because her dad was getting yelled at work. So she thought it was hysterical, by the way. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I work for the biggest retailer in the world and upper management. I don't do Thanksgiving because you guys like to fight over towels. We're going to put that out there. So you guys all know which retailer I'm talking about now, right? So with that said, the next day was the 28th. The date's irrelevant. I'm going to get to it. I called my partner, told him what happened, and he laughed at me just like my daughter did. He's like, you're only allowed to go down halfway. It's residential past that. You're going to have to reroute your group. So what I told my team that night, man, it's Black Friday. I'm sold out again. I told them we got to reroute, but I don't believe in the next story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person, and we're discussing pirates next in case you haven't picked up on that. And I've never had anything happen there before. However, somebody with a spirit box, here's the name, Anne. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe we're going to get something. We get up and around the corner. I told them what little bit I did know about piracy. Remember, no time to research. Somebody else with a spirit box, here's the number 300. I don't know what that one means. I write it down. I do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th, 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. Yeah, you guys all nod your head. I was pissed. Let me tell you why. Pirate stories. Let me tell you why I'm not a big pirate person. At least I wasn't, at least back then. Simply because I have a master's degree in creative writing. So especially when I'm doing this and even writing fiction, I like facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which were written 100 years after the alleged happenings of when they occurred. So I've had to read more damn books on pirates, trying to make sure what we're doing in this 15 to 20 minute space is going to be legitimate. That's a lot of reading for 15 to 20 minutes a night. So if you're getting my point of what we investigate. So it's a fun story, but it is a big roll of the dice if she'll even be there. She is said to be seen all over town because she actually lived nearby. So we will talk about that once we get over to the space. Man, you guys are like laser focused still. Christy, like you are still freaking me out with your laser eyes over there. Before we leave this space, the gate behind me, and I know some of this history can be long. You're very like, let's go.
Oh,
I want to hear
no,
stuff.
I'm used to him.
Gotcha. It's okay. Dads, that's what we do. So
Yeah.
we just talk. We lecture. The gate, right where he's looking through. So remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through that way? If there was a loser to the duel over here, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. Otherwise, they're walking all the way down to Queen Street and then double back to go drop off the body so they can go celebrate the winner. Why not make it quicker by creating this? Now, the wrought iron that you're looking at was probably put there in the early 1900s, but the archway you can see is definitely part of the original wall. So not a whole lot of people know why this is actually there. So it's a a very interesting piece. There's been a lot of duels down here. Some even say that Andrew Jackson had a duel down here, and that his bullet is still in the wall somewhere because he shot it off to the side. So take that for what it is. I can
He
find
had
no
so
proof.
many, nobody could keep up with him.
I know. It really is. And well, dueling was illegal. So this was only one of the spots that they actually had duels in. So with that Andrew Jackson piece, like I've looked and I've talked to, we actually have a dueling expert here in town. I talked to him, emailed him back and forth. I'm like, yeah, my folks, my locals keep telling me about this duel about Andrew Jackson in Philadelphia alley. He's like, yeah, I got nothing. So just take it for what it's worth. I do my research. I interview my folks. You guys ready to talk about some rated R pirates?
Yes.
Nobody got my dad joke? That was a very quick pause. Like, wait, yeah, we're ready. Any numbers?
No, nothing.
Nothing. Absolute
No,
zero.
absolutely nothing.
Anna, did you hear anything?
Hey, what was the name of the actress?
What was the name of the actress?
That they argued over?
Yes.
I have no idea. I've dug into it. I can't find it.
Okay, I was hoping maybe somebody would tell her.
If she gets a name, I can look to try to verify it. But during that time frame, it's very hard to find the playbills of when those things actually occurred. Because I
Okay.
dug and dug and dug. I'm like,
I did, whenever you started talking about the pirates, I heard like a 1 second long pirate shanty, like your basic pirate shanty.
nice.
That was
It's
about
probably
it.
a commercial because I
Yeah.
think there's 1 or 2 commercials using sea shanties right now. But I like it. What's funny is where we're going. I'm not going to do that because it'll plant it in your head. I don't want to do that. So for those of you with cameras, if you want to keep them running because we're going up around the corner, you can. If you want to give your hands a break, that's fine too.
That's so cool.
So I'm going to explain our last stop, which is the next stop, kind of ahead of time because I've been kind of toying around with something all for our evening. So the next stop we're going to be using the Estes method. Does anybody know what this is? You seen that before?
Well, not
It's called the Estes method?
No, not.
Is it like is it a machine or is it like visual vocal?
All right. So let me explain what this is. Oh, we have something going on. We do have a lot of trees over there.
Yeah.
It's all right. We have it on recording. I'll definitely take us brighten up the video and see what we have because we've
That's
had
right
other
through the
figures.
trees. Picking up on the trees. It's kind of high.
It is really high. It looks like it's actually above that wall, so it might be like the branches
Yeah, I
of
think
that
it's the
tree.
branches of the tree. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm going to take a look at it. It's a good catch. When I get to debunk things, that's me working. I love it. So the Estes method, let me explain what this is because we're going to be, 2 of you are going to take part in this. So basically, I'm going to take Anna and I'm going to blindfold her and I'm going to put noise canceling headphones over top of her spirit box. And I'm going to talk to her as if she's our ghost. And she's not going to know the history of that space. They call this the Estes method simply because it was started in Estes, Colorado at the Stanley Hotel. So it is a very interesting experiment, whereas with her not knowing what's going on in that space and who we're looking for, she's going to be literally repeating whatever she hears in real time, so it should look like a conversation in the event that it is successful. The secondary person, and I'm probably going to take Julia, she's going to be wearing a virtual reality headset. And she's going to have my phone in there that's going to use the magnetometer of my phone, and it's going to create AI images based off basically the EMF around it, just like camera's device. So it's going to translate it into an image. So I kind of, you don't have to use the VR cam with it, it just makes it more exciting. Now you two will be sitting together, and you're also not going to know the history of the space. So you'll be able to hear the questions I'm asking her to kind of see how this goes, but you're not going to know why I'm asking what I'm asking. But I started running that the AI imagery while we were over at the Pinckney Mansion site, and I just want to kind of give you guys the gist of the images that I caught over there. Now some of them are going to be, like, they're very odd and weird, just so you guys have an idea. So this one, I have no idea what this is about. So this is obviously very abstract, I have no idea what this is. However, going that wrong way. That was next. So definitely looks from the time period of we'll just say late colonial days. I don't know who this is, so again, it's a vague stretch. So we actually had, I would look at this and say, okay, what's the clothing, and do a Google Lens search on it to see if it was from the right time period. The next image is almost like an Escher painting, but it's a little on the darker side. So you can kind of see, again, this is all AI imagery, and what color is a big red barn? This was one of the first things that popped up. And then this popped up. So I don't know who this is either. So you can see where some of these images can be a little convoluted, but I always like to kind of give you a gist of like what to expect out of this. Now I'll be honest with you, I use AI imagery on a daily basis, simply because I use it to create social media posts for this. And I just basically tell my phone what I want it to create in what imagery, and then it'll create it for me. I slap my logo on it, and I make a Google or Facebook post out of it. And I'm usually very specific. So just kind of when Julia's under, with that piece, I want you to kind of think of it as if the ghost is whispering into my phone to translate whatever image they want us to see. Does that make sense? So just kind of think of it that way, if you really want it on a paranormal spectrum kind of piece. But it is scientifically creating imagery out of EMF around the phone. That's basically how it works. So do we have another figure going on?
Nothing.
Damn it. You gotta get
Well,
Christie's.
we're looking for temperature.
It's,
Just
gonna,
that
it's
tree?
that tree. Same spot on that tree.
Yeah, I know. 'Cause a lot of times.
But
when I'm
I
Going
talking-
around to the
focused
wall.
on the direction.
Going around to the wall. Slower.
That ivy
Slowly
wall is
pan.
not going to be your friend, just so you know.
It's gonna come
covered in
alive.
leaves.
Yeah, still that same tree. I'm getting 0. Goose eggs.
Now, the 2.5 in here, Cameron, is exciting,
Okay.
just
All
so
right.
you know.
Okay.
If he gets a 2.5, it's
I'm good.
exciting in this location.
Nothing, nothing.
Oh.
0, 0.
I would say like 75% of the time, we will find all zeros. So there's a more likelihood that you will get nothing versus getting that small 2.5. And part of the reason why I go to the 2.5, by the way, everybody, is because the natural EMF from the Earth is 1.1. So that's why I go straight to 2.5 to make sure it's not coming from the Earth. Charleston, right away. So let's talk about why we're here. This one, we're going to cover the history, and then we're going to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. But this is not a prominent English woman where we're going to tiptoe around and be brief. Like, we're going to spend some time here based on what's going on. We're going to be looking at that little tiny building, just like that tour was before it was that just left. Those are not crosses on that building, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with what an earthquake bolt is, it's basically a turnbuckle. It goes all the way through to the other side. In the event that we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, you can tighten them. And it tightens up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So the only reason I bring them up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in, and it's part of the reason why we're here. It's the first set because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. And this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. It's something what I call a familiar, kind of like what we just did with Bleed Over. Familiar is basically something she would recognize from her own time era. So, getting tree branches.
Yeah.
With that said, she is said to be seen all over town. So the hope is that she's going to be here at the same time we are. Meantime, we can also kind of see what's coming out of your spirit boxes for Bleed Over. Now, the building took 10 years to build. Our history begins for Anne Bonny right in the middle of that construction, so try to follow me. There's a lot of twists here. So I'll slow down on those twists to make sure you guys grab them all. 1708. Oh, by the way, does that sound like our government small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. So 1708, follow me. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far? Good. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she kicked them out of the country? And there's no planes. They came here by boat. They land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation up there, and Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. Now, back home in Ireland, Anne was a badass even back then. I know history's long, Anne. I'm trying to get through it for you. They say she was a badass in Ireland. When she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So I can't tell you how many times I've had servant, knife, and belly show up from 3 different people, and nobody else knows what the other 2 people heard. Now, back to Anne, fast forward, the building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. The reason why, she's gonna fall in love with one of these gents, so that way she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So again, women were oppressed pretty harsh back then. First guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful. That's what makes the story so damn good. We're gonna cover them all. First guy is James Bonny. You can already see where this one's going, right? You know her pirate name, but Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, they got married. So that's where the pirate name came from. Anne Bonny came from James Bonny. However, when she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which makes him a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2, John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny
So he
Depp
used to
character
have
off
a
of.
flag,
In case you were wondering who this
I
guy
got a
was.
pirate flag at 142.
He
That's
has his
flag.
own ship. He has his own crew, and Anne wants to be part of that crew. You cannot put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Keep it family friendly. I see those
Well,
wheels spinning.
it's a whole bunch of
Temptation.
Bad luck. We'll go with that. That's why I say keep it family friendly, because your guys' wheels start spinning. But anyway, so he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this. The reason why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world, like I said. But she's a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. You cannot have a pregnant female dude on, or a pregnant pirate dude on the crew,
Can
right?
you have a pregnant dude on the cruise
Yeah,
ship?
exactly. So he decides, because she did get pregnant, and he's going to drop her off in Cuba before she starts the show. And oh well, I appreciate it though. Like they're not paying attention. Come on, away. It's just like move your camera because they're recording. So he drops her off in Cuba and says, "Come back later. These are friends of mine that'll help you out, and we'll figure it out when you get back." So she goes and has that baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. None of my research has ever found it. Again, tons and tons of books about pirates, no word. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. So to make him even more mad, she is going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, just like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. Now we have 2 females, just like males, trying to be pirates on the same ship. Her name, Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, but we're not going to really know for sure because of the time frame, and like I said, it's pirate lore. But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates that weren't drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannon jets because they haven't been pirates for very long. So, obviously 2 ladies with 1 bullet guns are not going to work out against a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested, and as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her bow and captain, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on communication devices. I've seen it dozens of times. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front. They reveal their gender. They're hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates, so he's still going to hang them. They scream out, "We plead our bellies," basically claiming to be pregnant. You cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, the guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know much about her after her pirate career. It's all speculation. So I'm not going to sit here and go through all of the different scenarios of what could have happened. I'm only giving you the things that came out of a minimum of 2 resources from her actual pirate career. Mary Reed died 5 months later in the Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. I don't care. Let's have some fun with this. Here's what I left out of the story. So for all of the communication device folks, I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose. I know what they are, but I figured you're going to need something to work with here. So that's the father and mistress. Bless you. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland comes up from time to time, and the color of her hair. So I am going to be running that AI imagery. Looks like all of a sudden there's a bunch of tours in here, which is super weird because I don't time this, so I don't even know what time of night it is right now. So we just kind of go. We must be off time because this is weird for me to see this many tours. But yeah, just watch your filming when we're kind of scouting about. If you want to go towards the wall, there's actually seats up there. If you just want to go up there and listen, that's kind of cool too. But that wall actually has a little ledge towards the bottom, so that's actually where we're going to end up anyway. But I'm going to run that AI imagery to see if I can get any piratey terms. I'm hoping to actually be able to start doing that VR headset piece here to kind of preempt the last location of doing it with the Estes method. But yeah, let's have some fun. Let's spread out in here and let's do this. Cam, just so you know, in the corners, sorry, I'm going to call you Cam if you don't like that.
Sorry.
There are 2 electrical poles in the corners, parking meters on the other side of those bushes.
Top of that car.
It's that crap.
What do you think? Does that look like a plantation to you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it was a rice plantation.
How does that work again?
So it's taking, because your phone has a magnetometer in it. I don't know where that one came from. Oh, that one must have occurred while we were here, near the big giant church. Really small. So your phone uses a magnetometer. It's kind of like how your GPS works, like Google Maps. It kind of helps find the direction of things. And whenever you download a device like what Cameron's using tonight, they actually work from your phone, and they're pretty accurate. I've tested quite a bit of them. So it's taking that, and it's translating those EMF waves into some type of image.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the ghost is almost like getting close enough to kind of whisper into the phone and tell us what they want us to see. I've used this in different spaces around the tour. This space, I haven't gotten any positive things out of it yet, where I'm like, hey, that's because the pirates of this. I'm actually waiting for skull and crossbones kind of stuff to pop up. Like I want very cheesy, piratey, can't deny that it's a pirate term kind of thing to show up here.
Yeah.
But this is actually usually about 45% accurate. So that field that we just saw, I don't know what that's referring to.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Well,
I like the fact that it's going off the beam.
yeah.
Because there's really nothing to connect to over there. And the fact that it's not staying there and you're standing still. That was obviously the truck. Yep, I like it. There's no head. And if that's you, we'd like you to raise your right hand, please. We can kind of see you in this box we're using. Raise your right hand above your head, please. Come on, Ann. So obviously her right hand is going to be on our left. And we've had interactions like that with this camera. Like, that's where I get excited. But the fact that it keeps going in and out, I'm good with that too. I can't wait to analyze that. Keep it going. If you kind of know how to do this now, let me know if you get a raised right hand.
Okay.
How close is your phone? Too close from your phone.
Raise your right hand.
Any more questions?
And where did where were you captured? Were you on an island? What was the island's name? Where were you captured?
Just get music.
Nothing in it? What year were you captured in?
I heard third.
Heard what?
Third.
Third. T-H-U-R?
Like about 13, but third.
First half of 13. What to do with that? And will you open the door on that car and climb out? I see you in there.
Raise both of your hands.
No. Oh, no.
Can you raise your right hand? Raise your right arm.
What was your favorite part about being a pirate, Dan? What did you like most about being a pirate?
So how does this pick up shadow?
It's an absence of light. So it looks like it's in front of something else.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, because it was picking up my shadow.
Mhm. Absence of light.
This is
Yeah.
So you're above the wall,
Oh,
and it's
above the
going
wall.
in between
Oh,
the
okay,
gaps.
got it.
The gaps of the trees. So they're down in White Pine.
Anything?
No, I'm like getting goose eggs over here. We're asking a lot of questions about the pirate days.
What do you mean goose eggs?
0 zeros, 0 zeros. You getting
Look,
something?
come look at this.
Okay. We're connected.
This freaked me out.
Uh-huh.
Look, you guys see my shadow right there?
Yeah.
It'll pick up my shadow.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. Come look behind me. It'll pick up my shadow.
Oh, stay out of our shadow.
See?
Oh yeah.
And it freaked me out.
Raise your hand. I saw you raising
Yeah,
your hand.
I was like testing it.
Don't go too high. You look like a Nazi.
But I don't understand how it does that with a shadow. If
I don't
it's
know.
if there's
If
something
it's
in,
LiDAR and it's bouncing laser off of objects, how would it detect
I'm
a
like
shadow?
super skeptical of all this stuff. You
Yeah.
know?
What?
Yeah.
I got a .1 reading.
Super,
Oh wait, I just waved
super
my earphone in
skeptical.
my pocket, so. No knowledge of history. You have no knowledge of Anne's history.
Look at this. This is so weird because it looks like it has arms and legs.
Yeah, it's trying to detect a figure. It's programmed to look for a figure. It's,
Well, how do you trust it?
well, you can't.
I
That's
don't-
what he was saying. That machine probably gives you the most false positives, and you have to analyze and look at what you're seeing.
Like just afterlife stuff in general. That's why I spent the house. That's why I found these things. So when I became old enough, it was like free for all. So I started writing books. And then I got into actual stuff. When I moved to South Carolina.
So you're not getting that anywhere else. You're just right there.
Look, it'll actually pick up my shadow. Watch.
Somebody
Let me get where my shadow is really. Come over here with me. See, look, it'll pick up my shadow. Well, it was. Yeah, let me step.
I'm not doing it now. There's a ghost, Christian.
See, it'll pick up my shadow.
Man, what was the name of Jack's ship? I don't remember.
Are you hearing anything? No.
Jack's ship, man. What was it? I can't remember. Nothing. Getting nothing. Nothing.
I listen and watch things later. So what I find is what I find. What I also find is that coast up air. This darkness.
And where you said.
I'm not going to think you got one of those towards the black.
How did you come up with questions off the top of your head?
What?
It's hard to come up with questions.
How'd you come up with 9 yes or no questions? I'm trying to get her to describe Jack's flag.
And what did Jack's flag look like?
That thing's cool though. That thing's cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool device. It's getting a reflection off that door or something.
Yeah, when that first started happening with my
You were
shadow,
like,
I was like,
It's right there.
yeah.
I saw you over here doing your hand down there.
Yeah, I was testing. I was like, that's me.
What questions did you ask?
I was asking how big the ship was. Listen for like small, medium, large. Wow. If I got like 600 feet, I think I'd be horrified.
And describe your feelings about being a pirate.
So it's about the research. So that's what makes it fun for me. We haven't had a whole lot of
Nothing.
Dan, who was your favorite lover?
I heard all day, every day.
What?
I heard all day, every day.
What? Let me see. I want to hear. I want to listen. And who was your favorite lover? I don't hear anything but garbage. That's all I hear. Who was your best lover?
I heard something that kind of sounded similar to Jack.
I heard
said,
it
"Ah."
too.
You heard Jack?
And who was your best lover?
Heard Cashback.
That was a commercial.
Yeah, I mean, they're all commercials.
Who was your worst lover?
They kept working back, dual purpose.
Let's follow. Anna, you got anything going on at all? You haven't been shouting anything out at me, so I was like, she's got to be pretty quiet over there.
No, we're not getting a lot of nothing.
Okay. Christy, you think you got enough footage for me to take a look at?
You think? Come on, we gotta go. You would have pointed at the cemetery.
I remember most of them obviously. But yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome to walk up there.
My feet are hurting.
So, who's going under?
I guess me is.
Okay.
Being sacrificed.
All right, I'm going to take your spirit box because you're not going to need it in this location, but you can have a seat. What's going to happen?
Am I in
like
the
right
way?
now- a little bit. You'll be all right.
Here, scoot over and I'll get on the end.
I am going to hand you guys the equipment we're going to be using, but I'm going to take everybody else over to that monument, and I'm going to teach them the history. So, Christy, you're going to be part of that. So when we get back, you are going to be filming the entire thing for us, Christy, and you're going to keep everything directed at,
At
these two
them?
right here, right?
Okay.
Just to see if any figures kind of pop up around them.
Okay.
And then the only thing I ask.
I won't tell you if I see something. So you don't run.
Give me a warning.
He won't know anyway. He's gonna be.
Oh, gonna be totally soundproof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be like an hour later, take my blindfold off and y'all are gone.
This isn't gonna be another Angelina story, is
You're
it?
gonna hang on to that.
Huh?
Y'all ditching.
You will.
Ditching him.
Remember the Angelinas?
Oh,
Y'all thought it would be funny to leave.
I have.
my phone's ringing.
What's your phone?
Yeah, Charlie Brown.
Alright, so this is a disposable blindfold. I do not want this back. So, Anna, you're going to have to give up your spirit box, Dad, and you're going to take his EMF meter. You guys are going to swap. You want different earbuds, or you good with what you have?
Take my earwax.
Take your earwax.
I'll use her phone for this.
So I'm going to set these next to you, but Anna's probably going to be the one putting these on you when we come back, because you'll already be blindfolded. If you want to try to figure out your blindfold while we're gone, by all means do so, but it is like an origami project. So if you can figure it out, they're disposable. I don't want your eye boogers either. So earwax and eye boogers are all yours. But I'm going to go teach everybody the history of the space, and you two are going to sit here and become besties for a few minutes. You good with that?
So we're not doing anything yet.
Not yet. Nope, you guys are going to just sit here and kind of chill out. You two good with them leaving here? We're just going to go over here.
Okay.
All right. Figure out what the obelisk was for?
Yeah, Washington Light Industry.
Oh, there we go. I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Bye bye.
There was a lot going on there, but that's the gist of it.
The WLI actually owns Francis Marion Square. So in case you've been over that way. You take a meeting all the way down towards Francis Marion Hotel.
Meeting all the way down north, away from Battery. Yeah, we've taken. I think we've only gone down really as far as since we've been here, as far as the what's where the train station is. The tourist thing. Now we have gone over the bridge and gone to Boone Farm and stuff like that. And other than the Uber in here,
So yeah, you probably just went around where Marion
it's
Square
been
is.
more of an eating tour and museums. We went to
Got
the
it.
theater.
Oh, you don't need to keep it on them right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to film it here. You just
Keep
don't
your
need to
eye on
keep
my
it.
back here. We gotta make sure there's something going.
This space is actually the reason why we have that camera. So I actually had somebody bring one of those big chunky ones from the TV shows because they wanted to test it out. We had an 8-minute interaction inside this gate. So when I say interaction, it was, I was like, nope, not me. It was like, hey Henry, is it okay if I read some of your poetry? Go ahead and raise your hand. He would raise his hand and then kind of give us a little bow when I finished his stanza. Like we had all kinds of interaction. The only way that this disappeared, just so you know, the only female in my group that night actually came up to the side and offered her hand to be shaken. This man is from the 1860s era. It was probably disrespectful for a woman to do that back then. He disappeared. We could not get him back. It's the only female I had that night in my group. All right, so gather around. Let me tell you why we're here. Because again, this will be like 5 minutes. Come on in, because I don't want them to hear.
Oh, it's catching out his shadow.
Yeah, I'm like,
Mesmerized by the,
yeah.
It's going to pick up all these rods.
Yeah.
So the first time I came in here, because this is the new space for this year, so I only had 2 people. It was November. It was cold, and everybody else canceled. So I had a young lady using a spirit box, and I told her, just tell me whatever you hear. I don't know what people look for in this location, but we're going to see what we can find. She heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using a digital word list generator, and it gave me the name Tim. This is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So I was like, well, there's my damn ghost. And I had to research all this shit to find it out. But anyway, what you need to know about him is that he was a writer, and he was sick through most of his life. Being born in 1828, he can go fight for the Civil War for the Confederate side. So he does. He goes out to the battlefield, but his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home. Said, go be the voice of the war. They wanted him to write about what was going on out there in the battlefield. Came home, started writing poetry. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. Pretty prestigious title for writers, just so you know. A couple years go by, he's working for this newspaper, and then he has a son. The son's name is Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, but died 9 months later on October 23rd. Does anybody know today's date?
23rd.
22nd.
22nd.
We are 1 day away. I will tell you that the entire month of October has been pretty quiet through this session because Henry himself also died in the month of October. So it's almost like we're poking the bear during a very mournful month for him. So I don't know what to expect out of this. Anyway, back to Henry. So his college friend, another writer from Charleston, Paul Hamilton Haynes, says, "You're not writing as much, dude. Why don't you go use my cottage in the middle of Columbia, middle of the state, and get back on track?" So he goes out there, he writes his last words. His last words were, "Beholder of brief mortality," meaning dear person with a short life. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. Now, he died right there, just so you know, pen in hand, which for any writer, that would be the way to go. He's 38 years old, but it's the blood stain that we're actually after. The blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. It was the perfect marker for him to leave behind for what his occupation was. Now, they only show this page one day a year at the Charleston Library Society, and you have to be a member of the society to be able to go see it. They show it on Halloween only, so we're coming up on that as well. However, the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to Cameron as if he's Henry Timrod. So we're going to see what we can get out of this, and hopefully the images that pop up through Julio's device are going to kind of complement that. So here's his last, full page that he wrote, and I'll zoom in on the bloodstain so you can see the man writing at his desk. So we do call this the blood book. So good creepy story for us to end with. Figured as much. Look at that, another tour coming through, just wonderful. So when we get over there, you may want to pay attention of like how I'm giving them directions, so you guys know what to expect out of all of this. We're going to definitely keep filming for this, and you're obviously going to be looking for any kind of anomalies above that 2.5. We have gotten all the way up to 167 at this location, so it can go high. It hasn't been this month. I don't want to put any high expectations on anything because, again, we're poking the bear at this poor guy, and because I work heavy in it, obviously. So let's go talk to them and see what we can get out of them.
Showing low battery.
Christy's got some horns as well.
I loved them when I first got them. I would tell you what, I've had these Brooks for 2 months. Gate problems went away. Yeah, completely. And that's actually one of the claims from it. Did you figure out your origami project?
Well, it is like an origami project. I figured I probably better not try to solve it.
I have stacks of them.
I was going to say, hopefully,
From the card to fly, and then it comes apart like a Batman mask. So this is going to go over your ears. You're going to take off your glasses as well.
Okay, go double blind.
So here's what to expect out of this before you guys put anything on. So obviously you're going to be seeing images in there. Your focal point for your device is right here. So there's a little dial, so you can move it back and forth to make sure you can focus. You don't need to do anything yet because I haven't put my phone in there yet. When you see an image, because you're going to see a rolling gray smoke, I put that in there so you guys don't fall asleep. Yeah, exactly. So, it's not gray smoke. It's just going to be a 2D image kind of floating right in front of it. Just tell us very simply what you see. Just like kind of the image. Say, hey, I see a plantation with a pond. Very simple. Because I'm going to be focused on what Cameron is saying. So that way, if you're interrupting it, I'm going to miss something. I also keep an eye on everybody's breathing, make sure everybody's okay during this. It's not writing anything down. So that way I can stay focused on the movement. So honestly, really tall, really short. Like I'm going back and forth with your heads back and forth. I know. So with yours, Cameron, you're really going to be telling us everything that you hear in real time. So do not forget to talk. Once you're under, start talking. I'm only going to keep you guys under for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So Anna is going to be tapping you on the leg when we're done. So you're going to be the only one that can't hear us, so we're going to have to let you know in some way, shape, or form. That's the tap on the leg. If you're talking too loud, she's going to tap you on the shoulder. So that means quiet down a little bit. We are in the neighborhood. We don't want to disrupt anybody. If we can't hear you, she's going to lift up your earmuff and say louder. We're going to keep it nice and simple. Yeah, you got a job during this too. I know you didn't want to be blindfolded, but you're going to be in there too. Exactly. So in the event that something goes awry, so I have had to tap people out of this in the past. This other night, we tapped them out early. It was about 4 or 5 minutes in, we had to get around. Once you find a comfy volume with your spirit box, don't touch it. So did she show you how to use the volume on there?
it's running right now.
Okay, and you can hear it?
I can hear it just fine.
Perfect. All right, so for you, it is blindfold first, then earbuds, then she's going to help you with the noise canceling headphones off to the side, Anna. That's the white headphones over your ear. So that way you have to spread them out and get them over his head. I'm going to start, you said you've used VR before?
Yes.
I know, I used a lot of initials and acronyms here. So. But you guys seem pretty hip to all the tech, so I didn't feel like I needed to fully explain everything. will get in a little bit tighter once we get this party started. Good job, family. I'm just gonna put that over this big old noggin.
I'm just supposed to repeat what it is.
Yep.
So I might be talking the same time.
Yeah, but you're gonna be able to hear us. So you see how that looks like gray smoke? You're gonna tell us everything that's not gray smoke. So we'll put this in there, and then you can slide it over here. And it's already running, so whenever you see an image, let us know what you see. There you go. Okay, it is 11:15 on the dot. So we will go for 10 minutes starting now. Henry, we are back. And I know we are very close to baits that you are not comfortable with. Yeah, let's group in a little bit further, guys. Again, because I don't want to draw more attention right now. Too.
Okay.
Henry, I know we're close to a date that you do not want to talk about, but if you could tell us what that number is, I would be entirely grateful. Henry, if you are here with us, let's go back to something simple like I normally start. Can you tell us something about your occupation? Tell us what you did for a living. You can show us images, starting off the same way I normally do, just to verify that you're here. He's really struggling under there. Can you lift up his earmuff and remind him to tell us what he's hearing?
You hearing anything?
I could hear a little mumbling over here.
Can you hear
We're
anything?
ready to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, start.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna restart. 11:16.
Now,
Okay, there we are. Sorry about the hiccups there, Henry. Let's get back to your occupation. Can you tell us what you did for a living?
choir singing.
Henry, tell us something about your occupation. Let's verify that you're here first before we start asking probing questions. We know it's an uncomfortable date. We're very close to an uncomfortable date.
Ball drops.
Henry, what was your occupation?
Equity, socialism.
Henry, I need you to push through and find the right terms to tell us.
Pajamas. Pudding bowl.
I didn't even understand what he said there.
Pudding bowl.
The night to survive. $2,000 off. Laughter.
That's you. Henry.
Con artist.
Henry.
Shaving cream.
I'm not asking for parlor tricks here. We're looking for validation that you're here.
Used.
This would really freak you out.
The spilled out.
Henry, we're using the green box.
The glory.
Tell us, you can show us images in this green box. That'll also validate.
She killed me.
Nobody killed you, Henry. You can tell us which disease did kill you.
Shame.
Henry, you're not giving me anything. Are you here by yourself or is somebody else here with you?
1919s.
Did you bring somebody else here with you? That's a yes/no question.
Fired.
He's pretty good at listening. He's just not giving us anything relevant.
New living. Perfect time.
Henry, can you tell us your son's name?
Someone know.
Henry, I'm reaching at straws here.
Old man in your house.
Henry, Timrod, I need you to push through. We're going to keep this nice and light and simple based on what tomorrow's date is. We'll stop asking about it and we'll start giving you some prominent answers. I'll make a deal with you. Notice how he got quiet as soon as I started talking.
Bird.
What bird? We've seen a bird in the imagery here before. Can you tell us what bird that was?
You can use this.
Henry.
Magic cup.
Let's go with the geography of our location. Can you tell us what church is nearby? In all seriousness, Henry, imagery would work perfectly here.
Alive.
Tell us what church is nearby.
Reach.
Is he a good listener?
Yeah.
Test drive power wheelchair.
Believe it or not, I find that males listen to spirit boxes a lot better than females.
Beautiful.
Henry, we would like
92.
some specific details about your life. Let's leave it up to you. Let's see if you can give us anything that I can verify. You tell us what topic we need to discuss. Do you want me to read some of your poetry for recognition? Would that help?
Angel.
It's a yes/no question. I have a stanza of your poetry here.
Work for.
Julia, anything?
Work for.
Do you want that recognition? Do I need to read some of your work?
Society. Wrong.
Henry,
Really, really bad. Alternate universe.
it's been in there about 6 minutes, just so everybody knows.
All the way.
And not a whole lot of anything coming out
Okay.
of this. Henry, to kind of stir things up, I'm going to read some of your poetry.
Child.
As a trigger, which child are you speaking of?
Longer.
Last
Make
thing,
them.
keep talking, see what comes out of this. I'm going to try to ignore them as I read these measly 4 lines, just to try to trigger object this. And get them.
All night.
I've done this no long. We know not in the temple of the fates, God has inscribed her doom, and all untroubled in her faith, she waits the triumph of a tomb. Can you tell me when that was written, Henry?
Seems kinda.
Seems kind of what?
Lasting.
Last
2,
stanza.
3, 4.
The last stanza of which poem? Can you tell me that?
You decide.
It was called Charleston, because that's where we are. Can you tell me when that was written?
Background.
What was the month when that was written?
This is a reminder.
Like that. That makes a lot of sense. It was written December 3rd of 1862, just so you guys know. Henry, can you tell me what month that was written in? I'll take imagery as well. Show me a Christmas tree on there to kind of signify December. I'm okay with that.
Shame.
Yeah. What are you ashamed of,
Follow.
Henry? We're running out of time.
Never.
I've asked you a lot of questions. I want you to try
Just
to
once.
answer any one of them that you want. I asked about the church, what tomorrow's date's anniversary is, what month you wrote that
Schedule.
poem in,
Respiratory. makes me want to sing.
We've actually had the word tuberculosis come out of this. So,
That's what I thought about when he said respiratory.
yeah. Henry, any imagery
Study.
whatsoever, would you like us to go home?
I will see.
Henry,
Give another try.
when?
You're worthless.
We're just, what's that? Yeah. We're just here to learn more about you, Henry. This is how I learn. You tell us the phrases,
How late?
and I go verify the phrases. Just like how you and I talked about your wife. That's how I learned about Katie. And how you met.
COVID-19.
Go ahead and tap him on the leg. Julia, go ahead and take off your headset. So the fact that you got nothing, it's exactly what happened last time. So you're now the 5th time that this has occurred in a year that I've been doing this. It kind of speaks volumes to the month that we're in. Go ahead and stop your videos. Kind of show